life used to look like. In 2007, I got married to the man of my dreams. Shortly thereafter, the economy changed in what seemed like overnight. We decided the best thing to do would be to send him to Fort McMurray for a better paying job, and I would stay back in Vancouver. Things did not work as we had exactly anticipated. In no time at all, our marriage was falling apart. My mother was battling cancer, and I had lost my father to the disease in '96, so it was too familiar to me. My career was breaking down. I was spending a lot of time and energy fighting with people that I loved. I was smoking too much. I was drinking every day. My life was spiraling out of control. I considered getting a divorce because I didn't actually want to move here. But I had made a vow, and it was for better or for worse. So on April 10th, 2009, I got on a plane, and I landed in a town that was totally foreign to me, into the arms of a man I barely even knew anymore. And then it actually got worse. My first impression of Fort McMurray was not very good. Every time I turned around, I disliked it even less. I could not fall short of things to pick apart about this town. I hated how much garbage there was on the streets. I hated that teenagers seemed to run every establishment in town. I hated that when I talked to somebody, the only thing we had in common was how much we hated it here. I'd never in my life moved away from my family or felt so absolutely alone. As the months went on and the winter approached, the darkness and the cold crippled me. I put on 50 pounds. I didn't want this life. And I cried myself to sleep often. So somewhere in between this whole drinking, smoking, pitching, crying, marital spiral that I'd put myself and my husband into, I decided I wanted a new life. But more importantly, I realized that it was me and me alone that could create this life. Tony Robbins says, at any moment, the decision you make could change the course of your life forever. So I wrote a plan, the Mardi Getty 5-year plan. Now, we've all heard of a 5-year plan. Like Fort McMurray itself is pretty much based on the concept of a 5-year plan. And I'm not going to pretend that anybody here is in the same position that I was in. But I will ask you this. Are you happy with where your life is today? Do you want it to look the same in 5 years? If you don't, do you have a plan? What I would like to suggest to you today is that through a few simple steps, you too could change the course of your life forever. Now, I do have a disclaimer, and it goes like this. A 5-year plan sucks. It's kind of hard, it's complicated, and it can be a lot of work. And don't even get me started on that whole mixed bag of emotions that comes with wanting change. I mean, for me, I was so scared that my plan had to be perfect that I almost didn't write one. I was nervous that I was going to lose people that I loved. I mean, what if they thought I was going weird, trying to become happy? I was scared I wouldn't have any support. But when I look back, I think the thing that was the most terrifying is that I thought I didn't deserve it. I thought that I didn't deserve to live a happier, healthier, richer life. Have you ever thought that about yourself? So let's change gears. Let's dig into this Mardi Getty plan. I set it up in rules because that makes it just easier to follow. Rule number 1, change your attitude. I did not like Fort McMurray. I did not like it so much I told anyone and everyone that would listen to me. But I wasn't leaving. So instead of focusing all that energy into the things I hated about it, I decided to find one thing a day that I liked about it. And some days were a struggle. But you know, after about a month, I started to notice things. Beauty, life, kindness, and generosity that I simply just hadn't seen before. Rule number 2, write it down. Your list can be long, it can be short, it can be pros, cons, personal, financial, health, whatever. Just write down the things that you want to achieve. I wanted a better marriage. So I wrote down, I want a better marriage. In brackets, power couple. I was so unhappy with how heavy I had become and how unhealthy I was. So I wrote down, I want a healthier lifestyle. Now this brings me to rule number 3, and that is get some help. I didn't know how to fix my own marriage. I went to a counselor. I knew that emotionally I was not strong enough to follow through with a lifestyle change. So I hired a personal trainer. I needed somebody that was going to hold me accountable, somebody that was going to pick me up when I fell, and somebody who was going to hold my hand on the rough days. It took me over 15 months to lose 22 pounds, and let me tell you, I wanted to quit every other day. But I had my help, and she kept me on track. Now, rule number 4, revisit your plan and learn to adapt. So what does that mean exactly? It means that sometimes life doesn't go as you plan it. Sometimes your attitude sucks. Sometimes you want to tell your trainer to stuff it. You end up in a McDonald's parking lot scoffing down a Mc whatever it is and then driving home and blaming it on your husband because it's obviously his fault. And sometimes you lose your voice before one of the greatest moments in your life. But you know what? You go and you get your plan because you wrote it down and you change your attitude back and you focus on the things that you can control. And you simply put one foot in front of the other. Now, rule number 5, and this one's my favorite because it's quirky and weird like me. There is absolutely, positively no perfect way to write a Mardi Getty 5-year plan. It just needs to be written. Isn't it funny how day by day, nothing seems to change? But when you look back, everything is different. I came to Fort McMurray with the idea of a 5-year plan, but I didn't know what that meant until I sat down and figured out the things that I wanted. Through my plan, I fell in love with my husband again. I gained true, deep friendships with people I might never have met. I challenged myself physically, emotionally, and intellectually. I began to love myself again, and I felt empowered. I called Fort McMurray my home, and I started to defend it. Now, I have not reinvented the wheel. I know that. But what I did do was find myself in a position in life where I felt afraid, alone, and vulnerable. And through these simple steps that I mentioned, I changed the course of my life. So I'm going to ask you again, are you happy with where your life is today? Do you want it to look, do you want it to feel, do you want it to be the same in 5 years? Don't let 5 years of your life slip by without making a plan. Thank you.